Welcome, bite. Episode number 5 of We Them Brothers podcast. We got an extra special guest today. Extra special guest today. I'm gonna let you take it away because, we already discussed this during our live, and as far as the introduction, you already know you gotta come with it.
I don't even
take it away.
You know
what? I'm Jimmy Hicks, by the way.
I've got some really good introductions before, so.
Listen, we Anthony Rogerson, Jimmy Hicks. I'm Anthony Rogerson. As Jimmy said, this is episode 5 of the We Them Brothers podcast, and we are live and direct. And today we have, I feel away because this is episode 5, and she's been stalling on coming up here. She's like,
nah.
She's like, do some dry runs. I don't know. You got to shoot some other episodes before you get me up there. You know what I mean? She big dogged us. But in all seriousness, we have none other than April Rogerson, aka the Contract Slayer of Century 21 Connect Realty. April Roger.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
We have to.
No, don't read.
It's the Steve Harvey introducing Jesus. Like, that's the level you got to be.
What is this?
I see her every day.
Okay, today.
This for the we up to what, 10 million now?
Listen,
10 million.
Listen, we got this chick here today. Roll the camera. We shooting today. April Rogerson, the Contract Slayer. Let's go. So welcome, Miss Contract Slayer. We ain't got all this time. I mean, she might be special to y'all. She's special to me in a different way. But I see her every day. As y'all
can see, this is family.
She might not be after today. She be acting like this. You might gotta go. Is that tea that you're sipping? Right. Is that tea that you're sipping? But no, here we are. So welcome. We thank you for blessing us with your pleasure. With your presence.
For having me.
Okay. Absolutely.
Jimmy.
Thank you for having me, Jimmy. All right. So let's get into the show. Okay. So for the people who aren't familiar with you, I mean, you only have billboards all around town. You're all over social media. You do big business. You understand? You support me also very well, and I appreciate that. I'm a kept husband, by the way, and it works. It works. I'm a soccer dad. I'm a swim dad. So tell people who you are and what you're doing, what you out here doing in these ATL streets, Miss Contract Slayer.
I am the Contract Slayer. What I'm doing in the street, well, I represent the people.
Okay.
I represent the people. And that is what I started my business on, was representing the people, helping people with down payment assistance. And from there, my business just grew and took off. So take us back a little bit, and we're gonna go back to go forward. How many years have you truly been in real estate? Truly, not the true answer. How long have you been in real estate? Over 15 years.
Over 15 years. And how did you get into real estate?
What am I telling right now?
The truth. We don't lie to our people. We tell people.
I don't know if they told you, but this man over here is my husband. And when we first were relocating to Atlanta, the new construction community that we were purchasing in, they were just booming at that time. 2005, 2006, things were just crazy. It was like they were going up fast. What we're experiencing today in terms of 6 months plus turnaround on new construction was not the case back then. It was 2 to 3 months. Your house is ready to go. So it was happening so quickly, and the agent on duty needed an assistant. And our home was near completion. My husband came down to check on the near completion home, and he's chit-chatting with the agent on duty. He's like, yeah, man, it's been crazy. I need some help, blah, 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 blah. He's like, my wife could do that. Calls me after he meets with him and says, I got you a job.
That's what I do.
I have a job, thank you very much.
Had you had any experience in real estate at that time?
I did not have any experience in real estate at that time. And I'm just like, thank you, I think. Right. So that was my entry into...
And that was what, 2005, 2006?
2005, yeah.
2005, 2000. So you've been involved in real estate 2005, 2006. Fast forward, you were in a support capacity then, right? You weren't the Contract Slayer then. So the Contract Slayer didn't happen overnight?
The Contract Slayer didn't happen overnight, and my husband yet again stepped in. We had a mutual friend when the mortgage crisis was happening. Short sales were, again, it just lit the whole situation on fire. And if you were a realtor who was able to survive that time, you had a lot of short sales, a lot of business, a lot of paperwork. There was so much paperwork. So my husband, the poker connoisseur that he is, he's playing poker with some friends, and he's like, how's things going? Oh, it's great, but man, I'm overwhelmed. I have so much work, it's too much. My wife could do that. I need some help.
I've been working.
My wife can do that,
bro. I've been working on being a kept husband for years. She just ain't see the plate. I've been at the plate. She just ain't see it.
He come home from pokering, and he's like, I got you a job. I already have a job.
No, I had a plan to play.
Clearly, this is a long game for him that I was not aware of.
He didn't have the job that he wanted you to have.
Exactly.
In order for him to carry out his
clearly.
Right.
So that was the second iteration of getting into real estate again. And then at that point, it was kind of a firm moment of being like, I think I could do this. So that's where I really started to take it a little bit more seriously and really start to understand the business, all that went into it. And the guy that I was assistant, he had paperwork all the way up to the ceiling, and that's no exaggeration. And I had to go through that paperwork and get to understand what I was looking at, understand the contracts, understand following up with the people, because follow-up game was trash. So I had to, follow up with them, answer emails, do all the things that are part and parcel of being a successful realtor, which
I'm sorry, that sounds kind of grunt workish. That don't sound, that jacket is, did you wear a jacket like that when you were doing all that paperwork?
Real estate ain't that pretty, okay?
No, real estate's not that pretty?
It's not that pretty.
It looks pretty on Instagram.
Some of us make it look good, but it is not that pretty. There's a lot that goes into making it all happen. It's not pretty.
Okay, all right.
Speaking to that, transitioning from 2006 when you began to now. Mm-hmm. Of course, in the past year and a half, we've had a very challenging market, or pretty much something that I don't think any of us have seen since we've been in the real estate / mortgage business. So I guess talk to the people a little bit about how you were able to, kind of navigate that wave of everything COVID as far as the real estate game is concerned.
And that part of it, the second part of that, or the first part of it leading into that, is you talked about down payment assistance and how you built your business around all down payment assistance, and that was then, and how you thrived in this market now. So kind of, do your thing.
I'm gonna try to remember both of what y'all said.
Yeah, a jacket like that. That's like this is like gigarams. That shit got memory for days on this one jacket.
So let's start with.
That's a goddamn what is that? A USB?
I don't know. I hope this question is hanging
that's
on.
That's a USB jacket. Are you kidding me? Are you shitting me with that? That shit. Go ahead. Get back to it.
Okay. So your question was about how. The difference between how real estate was then and how it is now.
Right.
I would say the biggest thing from a perspective of a professional realtor is being able to pivot your business at all times. So there are always these ebbs and flows that happens in real estate. And to be honest, you really can't predict them. We just as we are experiencing COVID, people were not able to predict those different points in the market where things were kind of crazy. So being open as a realtor to move your business with the ebbs and the flows of how things change is important, because each iteration of this different changes, we lose a lot of realtors because they're just like, oh, this ain't what I signed up. And it's like, oh yeah, this is what you signed up for. Right. It's just not pretty. You have to be really ready, willing, and able to make those moves when the market shifts, because it always shifts. It never remains the same. It changes all the time. So if you're not prepared as a realtor, as a mortgage broker, as a broker overall, about how you manage your business, how you manage your people, and how you look at the business or the market, you will not be able to sustain all these changes that are inevitable. There's nothing that you're going to be able to do that's going to keep your business exactly the same as the day you started. It's just not possible.
Right.
And then as far as clients are concerned, understanding that however you may have done it in 2005 is not how it's done today. Right. So much has changed, even from one year to the other. So bringing up COVID, for example, how somebody purchased a home in 2019 is extremely different than how they're purchasing a home in 2020 or 2021. And that those people who either want to buy or sell being open to the idea that maybe it's not exactly how I thought it was when I did it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever. And being able to educate them, but them also being open to you educating them. Because again, sometimes people are like, I did this before, I did it 10 times, I don't need you to tell me nothing. It's like, okay, listen
my
to
baby
me.
daddy's sister.
Yeah. She told me she bought a house last year and they gave her $300,000 for her $200,000 house. It's like, oh, did they now?
Right. So you talk about so all of those things. Most importantly, an agent needs to know how to pivot. In any profession, you need to know how to pivot, right? Because things are ever changing in our professions, right? So, one, I guess you would say, educating yourself on your business, right? Mm-hmm. Understanding that you're running a business, right? Staying in tune with the market of your business and understanding how to pivot in doing that. Talk to the point about you built your business on down payment assistance, right? You built your business on that, right? Would you say?
That was a compliment.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was not a compliment.
Yes, it was.
This is 25 years. I know a compliment when I see it. So y'all just kicking it. You thought that was a compliment. She would have wrapped herself around you so quick. You would have, oh, she just gave me a compliment. No. So you built your business on down payment assistance, right? Like and being of the people and helping the people, coming from a social worker background, right? In this market today, when clients contact you, some family member who you helped 3 years ago get down payment assistance, their cousin calls you today, and they're like, you got my cousin, $15,000 to get her house 3 years ago. What are you saying to that person that's looking for the same type of assistance that existed then, trying to get that assistance now? What does the marketplace look like for that?
So the down payment assistance doesn't exist in the way that it did then. So that's the first piece. So
what do you mean? I see the money out there in all these programs.
They don't see nothing. They heard about it. But
well, they heard about it.
But these programs do and have ran out of money. So that's something that most people don't discuss. They're like, is all this down payment assistance available to you? Which is partially true. There is a lot of down payment assistance that could be available to you. However, because of what's going on in the marketplace and it's taking people so much longer to find a home, the assistance that was available to you in January may not be available to you in June when you finally do buy the property. That's one piece of it. And then the other piece is, at that time, homes were $100,000, $90,000, $125,000. So if you got $5,000 from a Georgia Dream, for example, that pretty much covered your down payment. $5,000 when the home's averaging $200,000 doesn't really help you that much. You still need something.
So you're trying to say $5,000 ain't a lot of money to these people?
See now,
I'm just asking what you got to be clear. You got to be intentional.
It's all really.
I need $5,000.
Fix my
How would you like?
No, I'm sorry, joking. Put it back down. Okay, so $5,000 is money, but it's not enough money to do what needs to be done for a down payment. And then again, taking into account that the prices have changed so drastically. So again, we're talking about at least double what it was then. So you can't use $5,000 and think that you don't need any money, because that's where they're coming from. They're like, you got so and so, and they didn't need any money. And at the time, you only needed to contribute $1,000.
Right.
But contributing $1,000 when there's still another $6,000 or $7,000 that's left over is not going to cut it. So there are not very many programs today that covers all of your down payment. Right. And then the programs that do, Atlanta housing, for example, I have to convince people that Atlanta is not that bad. It's like, I don't want to live in Atlanta. No. I'm like, well, they have the most.
City of Atlanta, right? Because we have 7 million followers, so everybody there's a difference between.
I thought you said 10
million. We up to 10 now. Last episode.
My bad.
I said 7-11. Right. 11. Right. We got 11. So for all of we're familiar with, Atlanta is so broad on a national level, on a global level. But when you say, people say I don't want to live in Atlanta, they're talking about the city of Atlanta, and again, there's pockets of the city of Atlanta that's very, very nice, which we know, and that's a great segue. That's a great segue, right? But I don't want to segue yet, so it's really bad segue.
We're gonna come back to that.
We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna talk about neighborhoods.
Okay.
So essentially, it's essentially inflation, if you will, right? So that $5,000 3 years ago,
And I think it's a change in the market from it going from a buyer's market to a seller's market. Mm-hmm. So speaking to down payment assistance and the different programs just a little bit, Georgia Dream specifically, they charge extra for origination. Mm-hmm. So what that means is like there's no free money basically. Like yes, you're getting assistance, but it's not free. They're going to charge you basically extra in your closing costs for that money. Mm-hmm. Now, 2-3 years ago, where it was a normal market and you could kind of negotiate the seller to pay some, if not all of your closing costs, then the seller takes care of that burden. So you really are only getting that assistance. Nowadays, like it's few and far between where you get that assistance from the seller as well. So yes, Georgia Dream now they've upped it to $7,500, so they're giving you $7,500
for that exact reason.
Right. But if you're buying a $200,000 home, they're charging 2% origination. That's $5,000 they're taking back. So you're really only getting like $2,500.
Right.
And if the home is more,
but
then we
can't say you really only get. Oh, I need $2,500. Don't y'all need $2,500?
Well, you need more than
so explain. Explain the. I guess.
So and we touched on this on the live too a little bit.
Right, we have to be intentional and specific in what we're saying because there's folks out there. I being one of them. Me, Jake, and 4 others. That's an inside joke. I being one of those folks. I being one of those folks out there. I need $2,500. So how am I? We sit here and we're trying to explain to people. Well, it's just $2,500. We don't want to come across as what is that like elitist because we are not elitist snobby whatsoever.
Highfalutin.
Right. But the truth of the matter is,
jacket is screaming.
That jacket that's a $2,500 jacket. You can sell that jacket and get some down payment. Yeah, right. Whatever. But the point is, that we're making here is we talk about the money that the down payment assistance money that was there 2 or 3 years ago. The money is still there today. However, that money does not go as far as it used to go.
And there's red tape involved in it too.
It doesn't go as far as it used to go because, as the contract slayer was saying, 2 or 3 years ago, houses were $150,000. Right? Those same $150,000 houses from 2 or 3 years ago. How much are those houses today? And when you're out there looking at
200, 225, some of them 250. Yes, it is, and that's a whole other topic of trying to get clients to wrap their minds around. This is what a $250,000 house looks like today. Right. And again, if you're talking to a family member or you visited someone and they're like, "Yeah, my friend or my whomever bought their house for $150,000," it's like, yes, that was a $150,000 house 4 or 5 years ago. It's not any longer. And in every price increase, people are looking at it like a $400,000 or $500,000 house used to really be like a really nice, a really large home. And now it's what would be considered, and I don't want to, I'm using this loosely, kind of an average middle class home today, when that was not the case. If you bought a $400,000 home a couple of years back, it was a big mansion. This is what they were saying at the time, but it's just not like that at this moment. So yeah,
I mean, it's all relative. Like we can say the same thing about gas, about a gallon of milk. Like we all used to pay less for that stuff, and now we pay more for it. It's the same thing with housing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So transitioning out of that into talking about, because I listen to you often, obviously, because I have to. But that's the whole.
That was a compliment.
That was a compliment. Right. Talk about in when you get a call from a potential client because they've seen your billboards, they've seen your social media presence across all platforms, the contract slayer across all platforms. Unshamed, we do unshameless plugs around here. Right. Contract slayer all across all platforms. When they call you, and they want to purchase a house. Kind of explain the vetting process that you go through, because I know that you're very successful in what you do. I mean, I learn a lot from watching you, and I watch you vet potential clients. Talk a little bit about your vetting process and also the process of what is deemed a realtor question and what is deemed a lender question, because oftentimes we see the realtor not ask specific questions because they believe that that's not my job, that's the lender's job. So talk a little bit about your vetting process and what you consider your job to be.
So I don't believe in realtor questions and lender questions in the vetting process, because really and truly in the partnership between the realtor and the lender, we both have the same goal, which is getting to the closing table.
Right.
And if we both have that same goal, we should be in one accord about the things that are going to help us get to that goal. I.e., what's your credit score? If I don't ask you what's your credit score, we are spinning our wheels on this hamster, contraption where I'm sending you people that are not qualified to what is the shared goal that we're supposed to have, which is purchasing a home. So for me, and I was naive to this initially when I first started. So I'm like, I got people, I'm sending them to you, Right. And at the time, my business, I was primarily getting my leads from social media. So I don't know these people. You Shaniqua, more better, don't get no better.
That was stereotypical. We love
Myra, praise God, Reeves. I don't know these people, so. In the first initial contacts is just kind of like, what's your name, and you talking about a house. Okay, great. Here's my lender's information.
Right. And that was it.
That was it.
How'd that go?
Well, the lender was not being as thorough as I would have liked him to be. However, he didn't say this to me, which is what I say to him when we're talking. He didn't say to me.
Acknowledge him.
The guy.
Acknowledge
he didn't say
him.
You're sending me this.
Other lenders.
I know
he wasn't, but he over here putting rights and whatnot. Right? I'm trying to give him his little,
Acknowledge me. Don't be addressing me as him. I'm Big Daddy.
What I told Mr. Rogerson.
Big Daddy. That's who I am.
The lender at the time did not say, "You're sending me unqualified people. Can you get more information?" He didn't say that. So and this is when I'm talking about pivoting your business and kind of understanding what your goal is. Because I'm not out here just talking to people just for the sake of talking to them. I'm talking to them because I want you to either buy or sell your house. So I had to learn the right questions to ask in order to get to the bottom line of, are you prepared for me to send you to the lender? And if you're not prepared for me to send you to the lender, I will give you some tools to help you get prepared to send you to the lender. But I don't need to burn the lender out or myself out with people who are unqualified at this very moment.
Real quickly, you say I had to learn the right questions to ask. So to recap, because I'm slow, out of my 10 million viewers, there's another slow person like me out there. So we got to slow this thing down. You're a fast talker. You slow down.
We got the function on Apple. They can slow it
down. Bring it back. No, I would bring it back for me for life. I'm not talking about the other part. So originally, you're getting these leads from social media. They're coming in your inbox. They slide in your DM, and you got Shaniqua and Katie, to balance it out.
Those are my people,
right? And they just coming at you, and you're just
and Tran and Jesus.
Yeah. And you're just sending them to the lender. And the lender is not telling you these leads aren't good, and you just like, okay, whatever. Then you learn the questions to ask, right? What would you say those top 3 questions? What will be your top 3 questions to ask this person? And I guess everything changes, right, based on the situation. But if you had to say these are my 3, what would your 3 be?
What is your credit score? Do you have a job? And the other third question that I ask most times, and it really just depends on those first 2 questions, because honestly, if you don't have 1 and 2, what about well, how much debt do you have? It doesn't matter. Right. So then the third question is me getting into what their debt profile looks like. So do you have a car note? Do you have student loan debt? Do you have any outstanding credit card debt, those type of things. And then the last question that I added is, do you have any blemishes on your credit that we should know about? So that is whether you owe taxes, whether you have child support, or there's a default, any of those types of things.
You asked them about child support? That's personal.
Okay.
That.
I want to know.
You asking about child support? Okay.
Yeah, I want to know.
All right.
I would assume that you love working with this lady because these are the perfect questions.
She don't give me her business. She knows works for another lender.
His name is Jimmy.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying to work. I'm trying to go podcast and be a kept husband. I'm a soccer dad. Working out great.
But no, seriously, these because we always say this is. Well, I usually say what I tell customers is getting a loan is like building a 3-legged stool and being able to stand on it. Mm-hmm. As long as those legs are strong, then you're good. So income is one leg, credit is the other leg, assets is the third leg. So you asking those questions helps us out tremendously. Mm-hmm. And it also allows us to help you out because we're not sending you out wasting your gas and time on somebody that's not qualified, showing them 10 to 15 houses in a week where they got a 5
10 to 15.
credit score.
Yeah.
You're a hard worker. That's funny. So we appreciate those questions. Yes. And again, we try to stay in our lender lane, right, and not tell a realtor how to do his or her job because then they get offended. But there's they do. I mean, I get offended if a realtor tells me to. I guess it's how you tell the person or how you discuss it. Mm-hmm. But lender burnout is a real thing, right? And then what happens is from the realtor side, the realtor is thinking, well, I sent Jimmy or I sent Anthony all of these leads and nothing is coming out of it. And then they end up going to another lender, right? Mm-hmm. The truth of it is the leads that were sent, while they're appreciated, they weren't good leads. And we would have known that off rip had there been a stronger vetting process.
Right. And I would say that they're not ready leads. So they're not quite leads just yet because they're not in a position to purchase at this very moment. Right. And I've had plenty of clients that once I gave them the tools and said these are the 3 things that you need to do, they have come back in a year's time, 6 months time, whatever time frame it was, they were in position to purchase. So, but I do think that having the lender to do that is not really necessary because much of what we do is so front facing as a realtor. So you have a lot of talk time, FaceTime, and that type of thing with the client that it's not really necessary to send them to the lender and go through all of that process unnecessarily.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. So in kind of moving on from that, we talked a bit about what home prices have done, right, over the last few years. Something that you and I talk about often just in family discussion and at our dinner table, we just have intellectual conversations and pontificate about things of the world. Good evening, everyone. Why are you gonna cut? See, you don't let me be great. You hold a black man down. You don't let me be great.
I must say, our real estate conversations go way more intellectual and way more interesting than some of our other conversations. He's like, I don't know about all that.
Hold a black man down.
Real estate, go.
I was about to say, let's get spicy here.
I'm just saying, single.
Single
that don't need no man for nothing.
I'm not single. I've not been single for a very long time.
Goddamn right. Big Daddy over here. Dress me as such. But
sorry, Jimmy.
I digressed. I told you I didn't want her on. You told her to come on. I didn't even want her here. This is what was going to happen.
We needed big names to get the platforms done.
We got heavy hitters.
Contract Slayer was definitely a big name to get. I'm just saying.
She alright.
You had direct access.
Yeah, direct access. Like, pause. So anyway.
Is that a pause?
Oh, yes. So just talking about values and home values, and something we talk about is the values in our communities versus values in other communities, right? Like when our values go up, they don't go as up as other communities go, and conversely, when our values go down, other values go down, ours go down. So speak to that a little bit in your, because I'm not that smart. So talk to a bit about your way. Do your thing.
So some of that is a direct correlation to just how society views predominantly black neighborhoods. So we're going to put that right on the table from the start. Like, Some of that we really don't have very much control over because we're at the mercy of the appraisers and lenders in a bigger scale, not obviously in the micro. So that is something that we have to fight for on a bigger scale and a bigger level, from a governmental activists, community organizers, that kind of thing, fighting for equality in home values. But once we remove that from the equation, part of the reason why our communities also don't increase in that same way is because a lot of times we can't afford a home that is that high. So if we're really being honest with each other and ourselves about what is happening in our communities, if it is predominantly Black, there is some level of income disparity there between how much we can pay for our homes in our communities and how much other communities are able to pay for the communities in their home. There are times that we are fighting about the taxes increase. And it's like, well, if the taxes are increasing, that is almost always a direct correlation to your home value increasing. Right. So you can't have increased home values without having increased taxes.
Why can't your home value can't go up and your taxes go down?
I mean,
it doesn't work that way?
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Last time I had a conversation with Uncle Sam and the rest of them, they said, nah.
Uncle Sam on here.
What?
On the job?
It doesn't.
When your income go up, they gonna get their money. Like
it does not work like that, people. It is the home value. It's an equation. X times Y equals Z. Whatever that's my basic math equation. The higher your home value.
X times B equal R. Yes.
Yeah.
Go.
I guess. You trying to put me on the spot? You trying to show me up on my own show? On our show, you trying to
fuzzy map. Your show. He said his show first. That's what.
Well, we got a thing. We got.
I know. I've seen it.
We got a thing.
I was one of the 11 million people, so I've seen you.
I just throw it out the back.
Yeah, you throw it before I catch it. But listen. So people want the home values to go up, but they don't want our taxes to increase, right? And it just doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. But as you said, it's a bigger fight, right? It's a governmental fight. It's a societal fight. And oftentimes we get caught fighting the wrong battles. Like you're in the trenches. You're heavily tied into politics of the city. Is there a certain region that you're tied into?
I'm tied to the South Fulton region.
Oh, you like that?
Soulful strong.
Soulful strong.
Yeah.
Okay, the big runoff coming up in Soulful.
There is a big runoff coming up. I just driving over here. I was listening to the town hall meeting for the candidates that are in the runoff. So I've already cast my vote. I have nothing to say.
You have nothing to say? I was about to ask for a public endorsement on live TV.
So this is what I will say, and I said this yesterday, that both candidates have something that they are presenting that can be useful and beneficial to the community. Okay. And with one candidate, he's been an incumbent. He's been in politics for over 20 years. He has the relationships and the connections that can help move the city forward in ways that someone new coming in is, newly starting up relationships. Right. But then there's something to be said for a disruptor, someone who comes in and just kind of throws things off and gives an alternative way of looking at things and an alternative way of presenting information or new programs in a new way. Right. So there is no losing with any of these candidates. And in addition to that, I think at times we make things so much more fatalistic than they really are. So at the end of the day, we survived Trump, we survived Bush, we survived whatever other type of entity that we thought was going to be like the end of the world. Right. That city of South Fulton will be fine. City of South Fulton will be fine. Fairwood Burn will be fine. Atlanta will be fine. All of these cities will be fine. It's just a matter of whether or not the leadership is going in the direction that you may want. But the reality is that with politics, it's always going to be a balance. It's going to be, Democratic, Republican. It's always going to be back and forth. It's never going to be consistently the same, ideologies across years. And I don't know that it should be.
So basically, pay attention to your local elections. Mm-hmm. Get off of MSNBC and Fox News and worrying about
Instagram,
what's going on the national level.
Right.
Like it's stuff going on in your backyard.
It is
that you need to pay attention to.
And if we want to talk about anything, is the fact that we had a 18% turnout rate in the city of South Fulton. I don't know what the turnout rate was in Atlanta, but people are not participating in their local elections on the level and the scale that they should for the things that they're complaining about. So they out there complaining.
It's not just every 4 years.
They're on social media. I got a lot to say, but then you don't show up to actually vote. That's the key piece. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know anything about all that kind of stuff, so I just know real estate. And
it's directly tied to real estate in a lot of ways, but yes.
I know it's directly. It's such a broader conversation, and in the spirit of time, that this would be a good conversation for you and Jimmy. Y'all are like really like Jimmy's smart.
Well, I already asked Jimmy where's this girl at, but that's all right. He know who I'm talking about.
We already discussed this.
Y'all got it in the barracks downstairs, don't you?
The plan is in motion. Whether you want to say Manchurian candidate, like whatever you want to call it, I already told y'all the plan.
Listen, we need.
I'm not feeling it. I need some FaceTime. What's up?
Come 2024. I'm just letting y'all know.
Okay.
This is a whole nother conversation.
In your chucks.
Not me. We gotta have Tanika on.
I was about to say I do have my wife. We'll definitely have her on.
All right. Well, that is one of our episodes that's coming up. We're gonna have the contract slayer back on. We're gonna have Mrs. Hicks back on.
Yes.
And we're gonna talk about the trials and the tribulations of dealing with the black man.
How long y'all plan on having? How long of an episode is that, right?
That's a long episode. We got callers. We got lines.
We love y'all and everything.
We got lines to do. You know.
But we do want to get you guys take on what it's like being married to a loan originator, because I feel like you guys see the struggles and everything.
Giving me all types of problems.
Respect the upset, please. That's what I'm saying. That's why black woman.
With my fresh. I'm just saying.
Black woman. You know what I'm saying?
I was trying to be nice. I'm over here keep trying to lean back, lean forward.
That's independence. That's what independence is. They come in, fuck your couch. That's how independence looks like.
What? So as a black woman, I sat here calmly and quietly and tried to be like working with the pillow for a minute. Then I was like,
all right. Anyway, this could go on forever. We could just keep rolling. This is the segment where you shoot your shot.
Yes.
Right? You don't holler at me. You know what I'm saying? You don't holler at the dog. You know what I mean? You try to holler at trolls. But that's another conversation. This is the segment where you shoot your shot for all of our 11 million viewers who are watching and they want to buy or sell their house, and you tell them why they should buy or sell their house through April Rogerson, the contract slayer. Let them know where they can find you and why you are that.
Hello, party people.
Party people in the house tonight.
Okay, so I am the contract slayer across all platforms, and I would say one of the biggest things that I bring to the table is, I say all the time that my job is not to help you find a house or sell your house. It is to help educate you on the home buying process or the home selling process. And any and all people now have access to the internet to, find homes and do all the legwork and the grunt work with buying or selling. But in terms of someone who's going to hold your hand and help you through the whole entire process from beginning to end, I have many clients who say that they miss talking to me because I make it so much more personal than a transaction. And it matters to me. And again, with my background in social work, it matters to me because I know that this is the biggest purchase that most people have ever made in their lives, the most money that they've ever spent in their lives. And I don't take that lightly. So if you have any questions about buying or selling a home, give me a call. April Rogerson, Contract Slayer, Century 21 Connect Realty, 404-397-4317. How's that for you?
Our white clients don't need all that attitude. They don't need all that.
They love it.
They don't need all that black.
They love it.
They don't need all that black.
They love it. If I have to tell you how many times, you already know what it is. I don't even know why you acting like that.
She know.
He know.
Listen.
Can't keep him off from me. I don't know what you talking about.
Where we going with this?
You know what downstairs. What you gonna know? I can show you, but I can tell you. Let's go ahead on downstairs.
Cut. I'm Anthony Rogerson. This is my boy Jimmy Hicks. Collectively,
we them brothers.
This is April Rogerson, the Contract Slayer. She can be reached at
397-4317. And again, I'm the Contract Slayer across all platforms.
And if it's your first time checking us out, please follow us on We Them Brothers _ on Instagram, We Them Brothers Podcast on Facebook. My number is 678-359-3574.
870-413-0531.
We are Them Brothers. We will catch you next time. We appreciate you.
Thanks for listening.
Peace.